Hi, Jordan Hoch here, West Stanton and Lou Madigan, and welcome to Breaking Ground, a podcast about real estate in New York. So today, we're going to talk about everything you ever wanted to know about renovation. Coming on up. All right, Lou, what's the difference between what a developer does and what a novice does in regards to their home?
Well, I think for a novice, someone doing one apartment, they think about, how do I make the perfect one apartment? And for a developer, we think about, how do I make the perfect 500 apartments?
Okay.
And when you do that, you dumb down the design, make it simpler, easier to execute. Because right now, the hardest thing to find in New York City construction is a competent person.
Right.
Right. So everyone else is now suffering the inability to hire people that we've been suffering with for 20 years.
So how do I hire a contractor? What are you looking for?
If I was hiring a contractor to do a reno for my apartment, I'd either start at Home Depot or Lowe's.
Really?
Or Angie's List, yes. Home Depot and Lowe's, because they're fed a lot of business. You can go into Home Depot and say, I want to do a cabinetry renovation, and they will give you a contractor to do the work, under the assumption that that contractor is then going to buy a lot of the materials from Home Depot, but he doesn't have to.
Right.
And because Home Depot is feeding him roughly an infinite amount of work, all the work he could possibly handle, he has every interest in not screwing you and getting a bad review, which then the golden egg goes away.
That's actually really interesting.
Yeah, because you would think that Home Depot's too low end, and...
You don't have to buy the stuff, you don't have to buy the product from Home Depot.
Right.
You just start there. Say, I want to do a flooring project, I want to do a cabinetry project, countertop project, whatever you want to do. And say, oh, and can you give me a contractor to work with? They'll refer you to a contractor.
I think most contractors are buying some materials at Home Depot, regardless of how
That's
high
right.
end you're doing, plumbing fixtures, things like that. So, even if they're not buying the kind of finished materials from Home Depot, your cabinetry, your floors, whatever, they're still probably giving a lot of business for the guts of a renovation.
And they own a furniture company. Ashley Furniture is owned by Home Depot, and they own a higher end finishes company as well. It used to be Expo, now it has another name. So they're all over the business, and they're competing with Lowe's, and Lowe's is typically higher end design. So the cabinetry you typically find in Lowe's, or the countertops, the sinks, a little bit better design, a little bit more money than you'd find generally in Home Depot. But Home Depot has a higher design brand line.
So that brings me to another question that a lot of people are asking. Do I need to buy Christopher Peacock cabinets? Or, can I buy from Home Depot, and is the quality going to be just as good, in my renovation?
I think that the quality of most cabinetry is roughly the same. What matters is the hinges, the pulls, and the sliders.
What's a hinge, what's a pull, what's a slider?
So what holds the door in place, what makes the drawer slide in and out. So the most expensive, the high-end, I shouldn't say most expensive, but high-end mechanics of cabinetry is from Pogue & Paul, right?
Okay.
So Pogue & Paul makes the slider in the drawer, makes the hinge that makes the door close slowly instead of just slamming close, the piston hinge. Now they have integrated piston hinge. So high-end mechanics of the cabinetry is Pogue & Paul. There are other lower-end ones. IKEA makes all of this stuff as well. That'll be lower end, but IKEA is not going to refer you to a contractor.
That's interesting. Why?
It's not a business they're in, so they will flat ship cabinetry for a developer, but then you have to assemble the cabinetry on site yourself.
Right.
So you can actually buy 200 kitchens from Home Depot, but you're assembling the kitchens in the building, and it's not worth it.
Is it more economical on a large scale to do it that way, or to have a mill worker in wherever make the custom cabinetry for you?
So there are a handful of custom cabinetry places in the city, down in Soho, in places you'd find. And for a kitchen that we would spend in new development, maybe $5,000, which is a typical budget for a kitchen cabinetry in a new development.
Going to spend $50,000.
No, 17. I think if you go to, I'm slipping on the names, but they're in Soho. They're on 21st Street in the East Side. there are cabinetry places you can go to, and I think your budget for your cabinetry is going to be in the $15,000 to $25,000 range for the cabinetry that we'd end up spending $5K for because we're buying 200
You're
of
not
them.
talking about a really high-end kitchen. I mean, in terms of size, you're talking about more of an efficient apartment, a kitchen for more of an efficient apartment.
When you say high-end kitchen, I'm talking about very nice product.
I'm talking about the size of the kitchen. If you have a 4-bedroom with a massive kitchen, the cabinetry.
How many of you have a 4-bedroom with massive kitchens?
Oh, we sell them.
I mean, we sell them.
I'm just saying, most people, are in a 2-bedroom.
I understand
right?
what you're saying.
Right,
I'm saying that, but that budget is for a smaller kitchen. That's all
Sure,
I'm
of
saying.
course, but to who cooks? Does
I
anyone
mean,
cook anymore?
it's still, you're still talking about over 3 times the cost for a person rather than a developer.
That's
though,
right, correct.
Which is staggering.
Yeah. It's, even like at the nice 2-bedrooms, we don't do a lot of 4-bedrooms. Nice 2-bedrooms, we might spend $8,000 on cabinetry, and then that will include the bathroom vanity.
You would for a condo building. You could build some 4-bedrooms.
You might, but your kitchen wouldn't be that much larger. Your living room might be larger, but to me, I would build roughly the same kitchen for a 2-bedroom as for a 4-bedroom, maybe with some more storage.
The next condo we design together, we're going to have a debate on this.
To talk about
We're going to have a little bit of a debate on this.
Okay, but what should go into so we have clients out there who are watching this podcast. What should go into that contract with that contractor that you got? Like, what clauses need to be in there? Because I've had bad situations where I've done work with contractors and my contract was woefully inadequate for the job ahead.
Well, you think your assumption is that the contract's going to matter,
Right?
Because the contract only matters when you get to lawyers and a court,
Right.
right? So and the lawyer and the court's going to cost more than whatever the fight is you're having with your contractor.
But the key component that does matter is how much you pay them.
Sure.
when you pay
And
them.
when you pay them.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
how
and
far
whether and how
advanced
good
are
their
they.
ratings are on Angie's List or in Home Depot's Rolodex, and being able to mount a campaign against them using social media if they screw you. That's
There you
that
go.
is
That's
what
your leverage.
That's your
That's your
leverage.
only
The
leverage.
contract is not the leverage. I wouldn't pay up front. I'll
No.
just say this,
Okay.
right? So
So
because
most-
this old saying, right? There's how you tell when a contractor's lying? His lips are moving. Right? And, there are 3 types of contractors. There are 3 types of contractors: corrupt, incompetent, and mediocre. Choose wisely. So we choose mediocre, right? Because everyone else is even worse.
Right. I know. I do this for a business, and every contractor I've ever hired, almost all, have given me a hard time. It's so difficult. So okay. So now the question everyone's asking: what should this cost me on a $1 per square foot basis? How do you break it down? Like for a normal person, not a developer. I'm doing a kitchen. What do you think that should cost on a $1 per square foot?
Before you go there,
Yeah.
I think the scope of work. Let's discuss scope of work
Okay.
for a renovation.
Okay.
My recommendation for anyone doing a scope of work for a renovation is flooring, cabinetry, countertops, and appliances.
Because those are things that get you return on investment.
And they are doable. You don't need your condo board to approve it. You probably don't even need a permit.
Hold on. Say it
Legally.
again. Say it again, Lou.
You could do flooring, cabinetry, countertops, and appliances
Okay.
without a permit.
Right.
Now, you may need an electrician
Got it.
if the cabinetry has a plug in it, or if the cabinetry has an incinerator, right? If you have a garbage disposal, you might need a plumber, you might need an electrician.
Most buildings
But-
don't allow that, so we can get
But
around
you
that.
don't need much. A general contractor can do flooring, cabinetry, countertops, and appliances without
Bang it out in
banging
a
out
month.
in a month or so. That's
Yeah.
right. Yes, correct.
But what gets you most from return on investment for your real estate is bathrooms and kitchens.
So when it comes to bathrooms and kitchens, right? When it comes to bathrooms, don't touch the toilet and don't touch the tub. If you touch the toilet and you touch the tub, you are in the apartment of the person below you.
Right.
There's no avoiding it.
But maybe they're very nice people downstairs.
Unlikely. And remember, they may be very nice, but they have an asshole for a lawyer.
Right.
And so does the whole condo board.
Yes.
And the condo board or the co-op board, what they don't want is the guy upstairs doing it to them.
Right.
So they have created a system to make sure that no one is screwing me by doing renovation above me. So Stay away from the toilet and stay away from the tub.
Okay, so let's talk about we're working in the kitchen now, but we're not going to touch the sinks.
You can touch the sinks. It's not a problem. So your sink drains to a line which doesn't affect the neighbor, doesn't affect the person below you. You can move a sink. You can change a sink. The sink is going to a line that's not going into the floor. The toilet is ejecting water down. The bathtub is ejecting water down. So sinks you can do.
Okay, so let's say on those 4 topics. So floors. What's the difference between hardwood floors, laminate floors, and prefabricated floors?
So hardwood floor, you're taking a log. Someone's taken a log and cut it, hew sawn. They've cut it like you're razoring a pencil.
Understood.
They're quarter sawn. They take it, cut it in quarters, and slice the quarter cuts. And you get different grain depending on hew sawn or quarter sawn, half sawn.
This is the most expensive.
The most expensive way of doing a floor.
Because it's solid wood.
Correct. And believe it or not, even though it's dead, it's still moving. It grows in the summer.
Yeah.
When the moisture gets in the air. It shrinks in the winter. When the moisture comes out of the air, ambient moisture in New York City in the winter is 10%. Ambient moisture in New York City in the summer, 85%. So literally, you will have gaps between the floors, especially as the board gets bigger. It's why in crappy old flooring, parquet floors, little tiny pieces of wood, they move so little that you don't create gaps. If you use big boards, very popular today with interior designers to do 6-inch boards, 7-inch boards, those boards are not only going to grow and contract, they're also going to cup and flatten, right? So they won't stay perfectly level.
And that's how you eventually get squeaking and stuff like that.
Exactly right. So hardwood floors will look beautiful, but they are more expensive. And I actually think there's better alternatives. But let me finish with hardwood floors, because there's different types of hardwood.
Oh, don't go there.
No, just 2 minutes.
Yeah.
2 seconds.
Okay, tell us.
Oak
Oak.
is softwood.
Got it.
It's the softest of the hardwoods.
So high heels mess up.
Are
oak?
going to make that's right. You're going to be denting it every time someone walks on it with shoes. Don't walk with shoes in your apartment. Who does that? Right? Oak is soft hardwood. Better is maple, harder hardwood. Better is mahogany. Better is, Brazilian walnut.
But better gets more expensive every time.
That's right, exactly, kid. The better gets more expensive, will look more beautiful, will be a better product in the end. And by all means, it should be engineered flooring. Real hardwood flooring where you're using like a 1/2-inch slice of wood is going to cause problems over time. It deteriorates over time. Those woods crack. It is better, it's more stable to use engineered flooring where you're just using a finished surface of whatever if it's the mahogany or it's the...
So you're saying
The one thing that I will say about using engineered flooring, you better be sure that that's the flooring you want, because you can't change it. Or
you can't sand it.
Minimal.
You can't say you could replace it as whatever it costs you to put. You can
You can
replace
replace it.
Yeah.
But with hardwood floorings, you can sand it down, you can stain it, you can do a lot of things.
You can sand down typically. You can sand down an
Once or
engineered floor
twice.
once or twice, and you can stain it. But don't do that. Pick the floor you like, right? Don't make your life difficult. As a matter of fact,
the issue is not really for you. It's for resale. When you sell an engineered wood floor, the problem in selling it is that the new buyer might want a different color floor, and it ultimately becomes a problem, which is solved by money. Either the seller's money or the buyer's money, depending on how strong the interest is on the apartment, because the buyer ultimately is going to want to sand and bring someone in. Can you sand it? We don't know if we can sand it. They're going to say, well, you can't sand it, even though you might be able to sand it.
But it's a fraction of the price. I mean, in regards to the original
But
renovation.
it's those fractions in prices that buyers and sellers ultimately fight about that might kill a deal, even though it shouldn't.
I think if I was moving into an apartment,
But you're intelligent.
I'm going to assume that I'm just going to put in my own floors.
You're
Okay, hold on,
and you're not intelligent in this subject. You are overall, but in this subject, you're very
Occasional.
intelligent.
Depends on the day.
Hold on. So what's laminate then?
So my recommendation is don't use hardwood floors. Don't even use engineered floors. Find a great laminate floor.
Oh, come on. Don't you think that's the cheap stuff? Wes and I as the brokers here.
I will say I'm selling an apartment right now.
Okay.
Right? And it's creating a problem.
Okay.
Because it was marketed as hardwood floors.
And it's laminate.
they're
And it's laminate. But no one knew. And the thing about it, I mean, the thing about laminate
As
floors
beautiful as your
are-
cabinet, as beautiful as your cabinets will be, you can make your flooring. Most cabinetry has a laminate finish of some sort on it.
Of course.
You could make your flooring as beautiful as your cabinets, and there are great laminates, and they can be indestructible. Like literally, your kid takes a key to it to scratch it, and it won't scratch, and that'll be cheaper than the stuff when
Much
you're doing
cheaper.
hardwood
Much
floor. It's not much cheaper. Good laminates are not much cheaper. They're the same price as engineered flooring. If you're spending, so remember, hardwood is like real thick wood, right? Engineered wood, then there's multiple layers with a finishing piece on top. Then there's laminates, and laminates come in multiple different grades. You're walking into Home Depot or Lowe's, they're rated in an AC rating, AC2 or AC3. Those are residential grade crappy. Residential grade laminate floors. There are much better laminate floors, AC4 and AC5.
I've seen them. They're very nice.
And they're beautiful and indestructible. They will look as beautiful 10 years later as the day you put them in.
So we got a question from one of our clients, and they asked, if I have pets, what kind of floors should I install?
Laminate floors.
Who's going to say laminate?
I'm going to say laminate floors no matter what the question
The
is.
problem is there's for right or wrong, there's a stigma against
course.
laminate floors.
Sure.
Because for historically, laminate floors have been not that nice.
That's
You think
right.
of
And they
linoleum
chip and
tile
break and they
things
look
like
terrible.
That. But now, technology has surpassed.
Yes, correct.
So what is it actually made out of now?
So laminate is a plant protein, right? That is, now they have epoxy that's mixed with that plant protein that makes it super hard. And then they literally are digitally printing onto that surface, and the surface is imprinted when it's heated, so it has a texture, and it looks beautiful.
So
And it doesn't chip, it doesn't scratch.
But you do feel the bounce a little bit.
That's a totally different issue. If you feel bounce under a floor
It's
that
not
has nothing to do with
installed properly.
it's nothing to do whether it's laminate or whether it's engineered flooring. It's the underlayment of that flooring. So a cheap acoustical underlayment, which is required by New York City Building Code to give you an STC sound resistance rating between the person below you and you. If you use a cheap underlayment, it might have some flex to it or have some bounce to it.
And that's when it feels cheap.
And it feels cheap, right? And when any laminate floor that's an AC2 is so thin, it's going to be flexy. So you're not going to use that product. We're going to get the pricing in a minute, right?
So here's my question. Being that it's made out of plant protein, you say, can I market it as vegan?
Probably.
See, well, that's the thing. You can say, I mean, from a marketing standpoint, don't say laminate floors. You say vegan floors.
And they're probably more recyclable than wood floor is not recycled.
Can you
But
eat it like a Beyond Burger?
No.
Well, it is plant protein.
Yeah, it's plant protein.
So pricing, right? I know developer pricing because we buy this stuff all the time. I'm not sure what retail pricing is, but figure double what I'm about to say
Okay.
for the retail person. So good laminate flooring, like good engineered flooring,
Okay.
should be around $5 a square foot for the material and about $5 a square foot to install it.
Have you been to LV Wood lately?
I haven't.
It's a little more expensive.
I bet it is.
Like 4 times as expensive.
But for hardwoods, LV Wood Floors sells.
for engineer wood. They
No,
don't-
he said laminate.
I
No,
know.
I
You're
said
you were
laminate
saying-
and engineered floor. It should be the same price.
be the same.
Good laminate and good engineered floor should be the same
Oh,
price.
really?
That's right.
Yeah, but okay, so LV Wood was high end.
Which is a
right?
very
very
high
high end. And beautiful floors.
Right, and specialized
Their
in
engineered
real
wood
wood floor,
floor.
right.
Their engineered wood floor, I'm not sure what it is now, but the last time I was there, it starts at like $12 or $13.
Don't go there. You can buy this stuff online. There are
And it's high low, right? So like you get the like the high end floors, but do the low end tile. Like you mix and match everything that you're doing.
So I think the getting back to the original question was, how do developers renovate versus how do individuals renovate, novices as we had called them so eloquently. I think developers are very concerned with building 500 units, as you say, in the same way and not personalizing them. I think the challenge for individuals when they're renovating is how personal do you get, right?
don't.
Well, look, well,
it's a mistake. It's the mistake that they make.
Well, I think that you have to understand what I counsel my clients are when they're renovating is bring me involved so I can tell you what's personalized or not. So at least if you're making the decision to personalize it, when you go to sell that apartment, you're not coming to me and saying...
We all have seen people who did apartments and we thought, who does this?
The pink countertops or like
what were they thinking? What drugs were they on at the time?
I mean, when you walk into these homes, when the
especially Upper East Side, Upper West Side, right? There's stuff that probably hasn't changed hands since the 1970s.
I was in an apartment.
Scary.
I was in an apartment, beautiful apartment, $2 million renovation. The wall in the bathroom, which was a huge bathroom, the bathroom was much larger than this room. The entire accent wall was rose quartz. I don't know how much that cost, but the renovation was $2 million.
There you go. And no one else wants it.
And no one else.
That's the problem.
No. It was actually really, really nicely
okay.
done.
I'm just saying,
But,
a lot of people will spend stuff personalizing, and then when the next person comes, it will really have no value to them.
The red cabinets,
of course,
or
right.
the whatever. So
have you ever done a rose quartz?
No, and I've never even heard of rose quartz.
Beautiful. It was.
Sounds like feldspar.
We tried to do.
It might have been like some sort of like I don't know, like expensive,
Feldspar is a pink limestone. So,
we've had experiences with trying to put stone in lobbies, single slabs of stone above the fireplace.
Right. Yes. Oh yes.
Yeah. How many times did it break?
6.
6 times.
We had a natural stone. There's beautiful striations in it.
Yeah.
And it's for a 15-foot high wall
Yes.
of a fireplace in a lobby. For a building where almost everything in the building is porcelain, which is to say a manufactured product in a factory, looks beautiful, and there's cheap porcelain countertops and there's good porcelain countertops, right? So the cheap stuff, it's just printed. It's literally 3D printed. It's printed, not 3D printed, but inkjet printed as a design on the surface. Really good quartz countertops, stuff like porcelanosa, for instance, you can actually see that vein through the stone. So if it shows a gray line here, and then you look at the edge of the stone, you can see the gray through the edge of the stone.
Right.
You can tell non-real stone by the temperature when you touch it, right? So real stone is actually very cold to the touch. Porcelains are a little warmer, and like fabricated materials like corian are really warm to the touch, believe it or not.
Hold on, let's actually, this is a great transition. Let's talk about countertops. We got marble versus granite versus quartz.
So marble is
Don't do marble, right?
why not? People,
Because it's so
the
porous.
maintenance of marble.
right, so that's what we tell people, don't do it. Don't do marble.
Yeah, don't do marble. Don't do
right?
marble.
Don't do marble. If someone shows you, wants to sell you, we have a beautiful marble countertop, just think to yourself, I have to replace that. Because literally the first time you put a cup of coffee on it, it's going to stain the marble.
And if you have kids, forget about it.
Right? So don't do marble.
about it.
Right. So quartz is what's typically done, especially cheap quartz like black and white stone.
Why quartz? It's a man-made stone.
No. Granite countertops, right? Typically white and black, or there's a couple of other base design. It's very cheap. It emits radon, right? So if you really are a health nut, if you're a person who's a hypochondriac.
Really?
Oh yeah, radon. Granites emit radon, right?
What does radon do to you?
It's a decay of uranium that's found in granites. It's all over the country.
Yeah, I don't know what it actually does. I know that in my house, I have a radon filter because there was radon in my basement.
Well, that's a different issue.
That's gas.
Different issue. It's gas coming from the ground, but it's normal. It's good to have a radon filter.
Well, it's very common. Like most houses.
Yes, but unless that filter
in
is
Westchester
like lead
and
shielded, that's
Connecticut.
not helping you. You got to throw it out. Anyway, we'll talk about that
it's
later.
poisonous.
We'll talk about that
Yeah,
later.
yeah.
Anyway, so don't do marble. There's great porcelains that look like marble if you want marble. There's granite, which is cheap, right? Cut the price. You can buy slabs. People say, "Oh, the slab is $13 a foot." Now, that's the slab, and you're not using wholesale. You got to cut it. There's wastage, and it's got to be installed. So, granite probably going to cost you something like $50 a foot. Marble costs you $100 a foot. Quartz is a man-made product. right? Caesar stone, the original product out of Israel, has now been copied by everybody. And you can get Caesar stone or Caesar stone knockoff for about $30 a square foot.
And to be clear,
Installed.
Quartz is the Caesar stone knockoff. They're the same thing.
That's right. Yeah,
Right.
That's right. Quartz is the Caesar stone knockoff.
And honestly, there's so many courses that look exactly like whatever marble you want.
That's
And,
right. Yeah. Well, less like marble. Marble's tough without porcelain. I've never seen a Caesar stone look like marble, or I've never seen a quartz countertop look like marble. It has other great designs, beautiful stuff, but not marble. Oh, people have started using concrete for countertops.
For a long time.
I
I
have
think they're
concrete
cool.
outside. I have concrete.
Don't do that.
You don't think so?
No,
crack.
it's terrible. First of all, maybe, right? They might crack.
Like the cement concrete floors, like the really smooth concrete floors. You can put a
Don't-
little color in it.
You gotta seal it.
Yeah, you got to
Because when concrete touches your skin,
sucks the juice out.
and not only
that's
that,
very
it actually it's highly acidic, and will kill your skin. So you should never walk on concrete without shoes on, right? And you shouldn't. If you want to test if this is really true, I'm not making this up. Go to any sidewalk and put your hand to it, and 20 minutes later, you will see dead skin on your hand.
That's because the fungus is eating
It's
you.
not the fungus. Concrete is a toxic.
Dirt.
Concrete is a wonderful material for building buildings. It is a terrible material to interact with your skin. So, no concrete countertops.
Even worse material to put food on top of.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, correct. Well, you can seal it, right? So you can put then something on top of that.
Yeah, but the sealant is not exactly.
It's not what people want. If they want the look
It's
of
not
a,
vegan.
it's not vegan. And if you want the look of a concrete countertop, go quartz.
So to be clear, quartz, our recommendation for countertops is some man-made material.
Although
That's
I
right,
will
yes.
say concrete countertops can be much less expensive.
Don't do
than
it.
quartz.
Don't
I
do
did
it.
it.
Don't
I
save
did it
that money.
outside.
You heard it here.
Don't
you
do
heard
it.
here.
Don't save that money. It's unhealthy for you.
Well, I did it outside. I'm not putting any food on it. But
All right, hold on. So we got cabinets. We did floors. We did
Countertops.
countertops. What was the last thing of
Appliances.
your floor?
tiling.
Appliances.
You could do tiling, but I guess tiling and
Go to PC Richards.
PC Richards.
PC Richards is the fourth largest retailer of appliances in the country.
Yep.
They have a developers division.
Right.
They know every need they have for
Right.
putting that product in your house, installing it, not scratching your floors when they do it.
they're also
Hooking
very
it up.
competitive price-wise.
Very competitive price-wise. They have the best buying power.
So hold on, because this is a question that's very close to Wes's heart. I know he believes in this. Wes, do you need Wolf and Sub-Zero for your apartment?
I think it depends on the apartment and the price point and what your buyer expects. I think that if you're selling a one bedroom at a normal price range that isn't
So under
supposed to
$1
be
million. So under $1 million.
yeah, I think that you can do a mid-range product like
Which is?
Bosch,
Bosch.
or even Fisher Paykel
G
or
profile?
like. I would do a little bit more than G profile, but I would.
G profile's
I would
nice
do,
stuff. G Cafe.
Bertazzoni is really nice. Although all of these appliances are getting very expensive. But if you're going to do a 3-bedroom, for a family that's going to want to live there for 20 years, and I think that they're going to be looking for brand names because that's what
People look for.
That's what people look for.
When we're talking about apartments, 2 million and above.
And the problem is with those brand names, like Wolf and Sub-Zero, is that even though PC Richards has great pricing, the prices are actually largely set by the manufacturers.
Absolutely.
And so you
there are some
can't-
manufacturers that don't sell through PC Richards, like Miele.
I think
they
sell
used to
through-
before. So when the last time I bought appliances, 3 years ago,
600 units, 600 appliances. Right?
600 appliances, and so Miele
Well,
would.
I only buy my appliances from La Cornu, so
Oh, fancy pants over here.
There you go.
So hold on, so, Blue. Do you agree with Wes? Because sometimes Wes and I debate this point. That's why I brought it up. Like I agree. When you have a high-end property, you absolutely need brand name appliances. But I think if you have like $1.5 million, or you have a house somewhere in
I wouldn't do
West-
less than Bosch.
You wouldn't do less.
That
Than
would be
Neither
the
would I.
lowest end.
neither would I. I don't. I think that it's like not that going to the Gap is bad, right?
Right.
good clothes, good company, whatever, right? But like, there's a difference between going to the Gap and going to Louis Vuitton, you know, or something like that. Like, there's a name recognition there that's synonymous with luxury.
Quality, luxury, style.
Exactly. And I think that the people looking for those luxury things, in their mind, that's important to them. And if it's not there, they're going to look at, all right, I'm going to change it, and now it's not a turnkey apartment. So I think you just need to bite the bullet and, you know.
All right.
Yeah, spend $8,000 on a Wolf stove, and no one cooks, right?
Yeah.
At least if you're in New York City,
Well,
no one
that's true.
cooks. I cook. No one else
True.
cooks.
That's true. Now, does Wolf
I
have
cook.
an electric? Like,
Yes.
do they have? They do.
Yeah, they do. They have induction. They
have induction?
They don't have electric, but they have induction. They
Induction,
don't have
which
your
is-
like.
yeah.
Nobody's doing like electric stoves really. I mean, they are, but they're not high end. They're doing induction.
All right. So we covered your Bible.
Which, by the way, induction is, you know, it's frowned upon a little bit here. It's going to be less frowned upon because it's going to be a necessity, right? You can't do gas really anymore in the
All
city.
new buildings.
But there is some incredibly cool induction products. Like
say, if
Thermador
you
and
guys don't know-
Gagano
if you guys-
have the coolest. Have you seen the Freedom where the whole thing is, there's no burners.
Right.
It
No, I haven't
molds
seen.
to the,
It knows where the pot is.
and it molds to the pot. So
That's
if you
funny.
have like a long pot, the whole thing is a burner, and you can put up to like 6 things and move them around, and it's digital. It's the coolest
For
thing.
those of you who don't know, Wesley does like to cook. He does consider himself a bit of a chef.
Well, if you're a Michelin chef, you're cooking mostly with induction. You're only
Are you
using
comparing
gas.
yourself to a Michelin chef, Wesley?
No, but I watch Netflix. I
Which
watch
is how
Chef's
most people,
Table.
that's as close as most people get to cooking.
Yeah,
Is
right.
watching Netflix.
The
While they
baking-
order in.
The Great British Baking Show.
But I do cook a lot.
Very gay of you.
Yeah. No,
I'm gay making that joke. I'm just saying it's a gay guy making a gay joke. It's not homophobic. Just saying.
Ooh, you're gay.
So the only thing we haven't covered now is bathrooms. So what do we think, guys?
Start at Nemo Tile.
Nemo Tile. High end.
It's not high end. Actually, Nemo Tile
They have a little of everything.
they have a wide range of product. The owner, Matt Carlin,
Where's Nemo?
it's in Gramercy,
Got
so
it.
roughly 21st around Park Avenue, but I don't know the exact address, right? But has his own factories around the world, and then buys stuff from great factories around the world, and has every price point from, cheap as you can get, subway tile, right? To $1 a foot, to high-end marbles that are $100 a foot. But he's a great person to work with.
Understood. Just
Does
knowledgeable,
great pricing,
honest.
does what he says he's going to do.
And that's all you're really looking for. when
He
we're talking
doesn't get any
about-
better than that.
What was his
Yeah.
name?
Matt Carlin, Nemo Tile.
Matt, the podcast is looking for sponsorship. I'm just letting you know.
Just letting you know.
No, I'm serious. Finding a vendor who actually will deliver, tell you what's available, what's not available, when it will be available, what it will cost, that the price is the price. It's not a made up price. It's a real price, and it's a competitive price. It's what it should cost.
Wes, this is something that's also near and dear to your heart. 5-fixture bath versus a 4-fixture bath. Do you think what's the difference? Now, just for everyone to know, a 4-fixture bath is 1 sink, 1 toilet, 1 shower, 1 tub,
Well, no, it's 4 fixtures.
right? But that's
Whatever
usually-
those fixtures
is
are, it's
usually
4
what it
fixtures. A
is.
5-fixture bath typically is a double vanity,
Double vanity.
a toilet, a stall shower, and a separate tub.
That's right. So, do you need a 5-fixture in your bathroom, master?
It depends. Again, like a 5-fixture bath is more a luxury.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean a 4-fixture bath is not luxury. It also depends on what is the apartment. If you have a family of 5 living in an apartment, I'm sure mom and dad, or dad and dad, or mom and mom want to, have a little spa of their own, a little more generous kind of, primary suite.
But it depends on the
I think it's if you're a 1-bedroom, again, like, you have to take into account that a couple might live there, so you probably want a double vanity. But you're also probably not taking as many baths, so you can get away with it, right?
But one important thing for everyone to know, if you have a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, you need a tub. Like you should always
Yeah,
need to
because
have the
because
time.
you have to plan for children living in that apartment and
I don't.
parents.
Well, you don't have to.
But parents and parents with small children want a tub.
No, but hold on. But Lou brings up a great point. You don't need one because you're a family of two men and you're never going to have a child. But you're going to want to resell that home.
Yeah.
And to resell that home, you're going to want to buy that buyer pool.
You're correct.
Okay, Lou, big question. What is your opinions on urinals?
Urinals in an apartment?
I use them. No. You mean it's a
disgusting.
separate,
I'm
separate
seriously,
urinal
I've been in apartments.
in like a half bath?
I've been in apartments.
What do women do?
Well, if a woman's not living in the
I think this is a
apartment.
completely irrelevant question. Stupid idea. The right question to ask is, what do I think of Toto toilets?
Total toilets.
that's a whole
That
different
is,
what do you think
and
of-
the integrated bidet.
What do you think about this?
If you've never been to a good hotel in Asia, you don't know what you're missing. And it's for the environment that a spray of water is going to shoot up your ass. It's for the environment. Because it's going to save you in toilet paper. But this is the best extra $500 you're going to spend on a renovation.
And it's for the,
and
it's
do you know
for
what's
the
funny?
environment.
Do you know what's funny? Every client and every person from a studio owner to Howard Stern that owns a Toto toilet raves about it.
Yeah.
It changes their life.
Changes your life.
Changes their life.
I don't want to get too deep into this, but good
It's
to know.
nice to have a machine to wash your ass. I'm just saying,
All right.
for
good.
$500, one time.
And on that note, thank you so much for joining us. If you have any more questions about renovations or your apartment in New York or Westchester, give Wes Stanton and Jordan Hoch a call at the Stanton Hoch Team. And if you're thinking about building a building somewhere in New York, or New Jersey or Westchester or anywhere for that matter, Lou Madigan Development.
And even more than that, subscribe.
Subscribe on YouTube. Thanks so much.